Hello everyone, welcome back to Higher Max. As you can see from the title of the video, today we will be discussing the explosive, the extravagant, the crazy finale of the Real Housewives of Potomac season 5. And y'all, when I say I have so much to get into. But before we continue on, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow the socials, my personal one down here below, and my second page called Confessions of a Black Girl, which is a space for Black girls, women, and femmes to feel celebrated and vulnerable. How I'm going to be going about this video, I'll be discussing how Michael said there will be no engagement between Juan and Robyn. Robyn and Juan's engagement that did end up happening. Candace's song, Michael and Chris's explosive fight. And I might get into a little bit of Jamal and Gizelle, talk a little bit about what I think might happen in the finale. And you know what, friends? Let's get straight into this video. At some point in the episode, Ashley decides to tell Michael, her husband, Michael Darby, about the fact that Juan plans on proposing to Robyn. And we have seen throughout the season that Juan and Michael have some sort of close friendship. We do not know how close, wink wink, but it seems to be there. So when Michael Darby, Mr. Michael Darby, decides to say that he does not think Juan is going to propose, we all have to, raise a little bit of an eyebrow. We have to ask some questions, because what is Juan communicating with you, sir? With you, that makes you believe so sure that he is definitely not going to propose to his ex-wife / girlfriend / soon-to-be fiance, Miss Robyn Dixon. So that was definitely something that was question mark. And especially since he kept on saying to Ashley, I'm not getting into this with you. And he was acting so coy. I was like, sir, what did this man tell you? It can only be extra shady boots, because he continued saying this even at the winter party, whatever, that Robyn and Juan were throwing. At the event, he still was like, I don't know if Juan's gonna propose. And so I genuinely wish we could find out what Juan said. I wish there was some moment where Michael thought he wasn't mic'd up and he could expose how he felt, because the whole night that dude was just like, it is not gonna happen. And even when it did happen, he seemed a bit not as if he didn't seem confident about it, which makes me a bit nervous. And I'm hoping he can explain himself at the reunion to tell us, why did you feel that way, Mr. Darby? Why did you feel like this was not gonna continue? Why do you feel like he was not going to propose to his woman that literally has been the plotline this season, or for the past few seasons, because Robyn has been on Juan's case. And I guess, you know what, this will prolong Robyn's, I don't want to say storyline or whatever, but until next season, she can at least be planning the wedding. But I'm only going to accept one season about her talking about planning the wedding. After that, if they're not married, not my problem. I do not want to have 2 seasons of us dealing and talking about her proposal / when she's going to get married, and then her and Juan fighting over getting married and stuff like that. So that was something that really stood out to me in this very explosive. Let me tell you something about this finale. This finale is what reality TV is all about. When I say there was not a dull moment, I could not look away from the screen. Sometimes you look at your phone or whatever. I could not look away from the screen, because every single moment Potomac was serving, there was something, and I was like, what the is going on? Now, Robyn and Juan's engagement, as I just said, I'm hoping that this next plotline of them getting married does not last too long. I still foresee some drama. I love that they're in couples therapy. I think it's beneficial, not just for them, just couples in general should be going to couples therapy. Also, I just want to say an honorable mention to Ashley's ponytail because girl was serving looks. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of most of the people's style of Potomac. I really only like Monique, Candace, and Karen's style. Yes, that's literally it. Because Gizelle just be coming onto the show wearing anything. But I have to say, Ashley's ponytail, makeup, look, outfit, everything, 10 out of 10, girl, everything. By the way, y'all, I just want y'all to know, so I really like the remix of Candace's song. I legitimately downloaded it. Like, you could look at my playlist and you'll see that I've listened to it. I like it. What can I say? I think it sounds so much better than at the wedding, and I feel like she found her groove, and I feel like she found her voice. So we obviously see the confrontation between Candace and Karen, and I think this was an important thing to happen for them to clear the air. They've been having all this tension throughout the season that's been making it pretty awkward, but I want their relationship to survive this. If I'm to be honest, I don't want what happened between Monique and Candace to break up Candace and Karen. Yes, something feels a bit shady, but I feel like Karen has explained herself. It does feel a bit weird. But she did explain herself well. I think the ladies can move on from this. I think that they can move past this. Hopefully they can. And it will be very interesting to see how they even interact at the reunion, if that. Also, I just want to say, I know I didn't do a review of the last episode, but I just want to say, because of my previous video on Real Housewives of Potomac, this is literally why I think Jamal and Gizelle are not real. And agree with Miss Karen Hugo when she says that Jamal lives in her phone. Sir, you have a whole ass family photo shoot. One of the first things that an activity she wants you to do with you and your daughters, because your daughters do not trust you with their mom. And you could even show up to that. I just think that this could be a plot line, because Gizelle is a very demanding woman, and I say this in the best way possible, because I mean, I think she deserves to find someone who will cater to all her needs. But to be honest, it just doesn't feel real, because she isn't like being demanding, and at the same time he's not showing up for anything. It doesn't look like he's going to be there for the reunion. The only time we've seen Jamal this season is to open that restaurant with his daughters and drive the car with Gizelle when they talk about what they're going to do with the future of the relationship. Apart from that, we have not seen him, and that's why I still think that this is not a real relationship. I will be surprised if they're still together. And apparently, I mean, if we saw from what the clip in the reunion, we see that Mr. Jamal is still, sleeping around, allegedly, hoeing around, allegedly. So really, like, Gizelle, even though I don't see eye to eye with many of her actions, I still think she deserves better than that. I think she needs someone who will be there for her. The most interesting part of this episode is that we see at the end that Candace and Monique's cases are dropped, both sides, because the courts thought that Candace kind of was asking for it, by antagonizing Monique, but I think this was kind of an awkward. I think it was a necessary ending, but an awkward ending. And as I said last time, I don't want any of them to suffer criminal charges. I think it's the type of thing where they have to sit down, woman to woman, and have a discussion. So I definitely don't want any of them to, go to jail or be sued. But I think it was not, because this whole, I'm just confused about where Monique stands with this whole thing. Yes, Candace has been crying about this whole situation that she also contributed to a lot of, but at the same time too, Monique, for the first 2 days, she felt bad, and she's going to therapy, she's going to have all these meetings, and then she starts laughing about it. I just don't really understand what her stance is. Genuinely, I don't understand what her stance is. It's confusing me and my homegirls, and I hope that we're able to hear more about this at the reunion. Now, last but definitely not least, the thing that I need to discuss is this Chris and Michael fight. Chris Bassett and Mr. Michael Darby. Oh, the white on white crime, y'all. I was very, very shocked about what happened. And the reason why I say this is because I didn't even know that these two had tension like that. I didn't even know it was that deep, that it could move that fast. Michael is such a douche. He is such a douche, and we've been knowing this, but that's such douchey behavior that really, really, really annoys me. And when he said to Chris, he was definitely overstepping his boundaries by saying, control your woman. I don't think that was his place to go talk to him about his wife, and I don't even think that they were the type of environment where that was necessary. The women fight, that's part of being on one of these reality TV shows, but it's not for you to come and start telling someone how to handle your wife. Yes, Mr. Chris, you should not have touched him. All he did was push him. But still, I'm not going to validate those actions. I don't think that it was correct for him to do that anyways. But then things that ended up adding more fuel to the fire was the wives getting involved, because then Candace, as usual, is ready, and Mr. Michael is like, I'm calling my lawyer, you're going to jail. And then Ashley is like saying some deep stuff by saying, you know what I mean, you were judging Monique all this time, but your husband's doing the same ass thing, blah 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 blah. It was an awkward thing, because the whole reason that Candace had been upset the whole season, Chris kind of was doing that to somebody else, obviously not to the same extent, because Michael was not hurt, but he put his hands on him, and that kind of discredits his wife to a certain point. But he was also trying to protect his wife, so it's kind of a catch-22 situation. Michael is definitely antagonizing the whole situation, and it was interesting the things that he had to say about Chris, calling him a redneck, etc. And there's a point that they beeped out the stuff that he said, but what was he saying? Bald-headed? I don't know what would be filled in there, but y'all let me know, because I was like, seems a bit shady. It was an intense fight, and it was an intense way to end the season. But also what would make this interesting is how the men handle each other at the reunion. Usually, you know, there's a lot of tension between the women, and sometimes once in a while the woman and a man or somebody else's husband, but we don't usually see two husbands on this show have a disagreement. So it'll be very interesting to see how they are going to interact at the reunion. This, I'm not gonna lie, I'm team Chris, only because I think Michael's douchey. And even the way he was speaking to the producers, the way he spoke to Ashley, like, what was going on? Was Sir drunk out of his mind? Like, the actions that took place by him after the altercation were very intense and unnecessary and strange. And then him and Ashley were fighting. Like, I don't even know half of the things that he was saying to her, but it obviously was shady boots and unnecessary and douchey, as I've been saying that he is. It's always weird the way that Ashley and Michael make up, because afterwards in that thing where it talks about at the end of the episode, it said, oh, they went off to a holiday afterwards, and I'm like, oh, okay, Ashley and Michael, strange behavior, but what else do we expect from the two of them? Bear in mind, I really like Ashley, I just don't like her and Michael together. And then I found out that she's pregnant with another baby. I wish them luck. What more can I do than wishing them luck? Those are my thoughts about some of the things that happened in the episode. I want y'all to let me know down below, what do you think about the fight between Chris Bassett and Michael Darby? Also, do you think this discredits Candace or not? Or like, what are your other thoughts about that? I'm excited to see this reunion. The clips we've seen from the reunion seem to be very intense and very interesting. Very, very, very excited to see that, especially with Monique and her binder. What is going to be in that binder? We do not even know, because she said she came with the receipts. So I cannot wait for her to read the room, and I can't wait to see all the women. And I've also heard that this was a very hard reunion for Gizelle. And though I don't want her to be bullied, I also think it is time for her to be called out for some of her actions. And I think this might be the best place to do it, because she has been able to kind of fly by for most of the time, even though she's been one of the most shadiest people on the show. Plus, we have a new episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, so please stay tuned for that review, because I definitely watch Atlanta as well. If you wanted to know, I watch Atlanta, Potomac, New Jersey, and Beverly Hills. Those are my housewives. So now that we have a new season coming through, I am very excited to review that for you. But before we go, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow the socials, and I'll be seeing y'all very, very soon with another video. Goodbye.